Hello there. Thank you for taking a moment to watch this video, and on this specific training we're going to be talking about using PhoneBurner with managed packages. However, more specifically, we're going to talk about how you can configure your Salesforce environment so that you can initiate a dial session from a custom object in a managed package where you want to call the actual records of that managed package. If you're looking to call contacts related to records on a managed package, then you'll want to watch the other training that is specific to that. In this specific training, we're going to be talking about how to add a button to actually launch a dial session to call the records on that custom object that's part of that managed package. So let's get into it. First thing you'll need to do is you'll need to log in as an admin, and we're going to go to Setup. In our Setup Quick Find, we're going to type in Visualforce so that we can go to our Visualforce pages in Setup. And we're going to need to create two new Visualforce pages. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the New button right here. Now, to simplify things for the training and the configuration, I'm going to recommend that you standardize the naming and labeling of these pages. And I would recommend that you label this using the custom object name followed by dialer start. In this particular case, I'm going to build mine for the vendor object that comes pre-installed as part of the PhoneBurner managed package. And then, of course, the name is going to be exactly the same. Then we're going to go down here to the Visualforce markup, and we're going to delete this, and we're going to paste in some new code. Now you're going to want to copy and paste the Visualforce markup from the documentation. If we go to the support section, we go to the Salesforce training module. In here, you're going to see the managed package training section. And we're going to go to the training specific to the custom object record. At this time, there's no video listed here because I'm actually recording it now, but I'm going to go ahead and click on download here. And that should actually take me to the documentation. I'm going to scroll down, and we're going to do the custom object dialer start code right here. We're going to copy all of this and paste it here. Now you'll notice in this documentation, there are quite a few things that are highlighted. We're going to update those highlighted items with specific information. So now let's jump back over to our Visualforce page. Obviously, they're not highlighted in here, so we have to be able to jump back and forth between the two. But I have put some information in here to try to make it a little easier for you to identify what needs to be done here. So right here, I need to replace this block of code, this block of content here, with the custom object API name. So in a new tab, I'm going to open up Setup because I don't want to leave that page. I just want to keep that tab open. And I'm going to go look up that custom object. In this case, I'm using the vendor object that comes installed with the PhoneBurner managed package. Open that up. And I need the API name for that managed package custom object. And I'm going to come back here, re-highlight that, and paste that in there. The next thing we need to update is right here. We need to insert the custom object API name, and we need to replace the underscore C with an S. So let's go ahead and highlight all of this here. We're going to paste this in, and you'll see that there's the underscore C. We're going to replace that with an S. Now the next thing that we need to update is the Insert Custom Object API Name option right here. We're going to leave the IDS there. We just need the Custom Object API Name. We're going to paste that in there. Then we need to scroll down a little bit further, and we'll see a couple other spots that we need to update. We're going to insert Custom Object API Name here. And then this one right here, we're going to update as well. And I believe that's everything, but let's go double check. Yep, those 5 options right there. So now that we've got those updated, we can save this new Visualforce page. Oh, well, I've actually done this before on this one, so I'm going to change this to 2 and 2 so that I can save it. Now I need to create another Visualforce page that will be used when dialing. So let's go back to the Visualforce pages. We're going to click on New. And this one I'm going to label Custom Object Name Details. So in this case, Vendor. So it's going to be Vendor Details. Now, of course, I've already created this once before, so I'm just going to throw the number 2 behind this just so that we don't have that same error like we did on the other page. Now we're going to go down here to the Visualforce markup, and we're going to select all of that and delete it. Then we're going to jump back over to our documentation here, and we're going to go to our second section of code, and we're going to copy all of this code. And we're going to paste it in here. Now the nice thing about this code is I don't have to make any changes to this code. We just use this code as it is. And I'm going to go ahead and save. Now that we've created both of these pages, let's go back to our main Visualforce pages section. And let's go to our, in this case, I'm going to go to the V's for vendor. You're going to go to the area based off of the custom object that you are building these Visualforce pages for. And you should see object name details and object name dialer start. So now that we've created these Visualforce pages, the next thing we need to do, we need to build out the actual button that's going to be used to initiate the dial session. So we're going to click on Object Manager. From the Object Manager, we're going to go to the Quick Find, and we're going to type in the name of the object that we're creating this functionality for. So in this case, I'm going to the vendor object. I'm going to click on the vendor object name. That'll open up the vendor object. And I'm going to go to Buttons, Links, and Actions. From here, I'm going to click on the new button or link. And we're going to create a new button. And I'm going to name my button Begin Custom Object Phone Burner Session. So let's replace custom object with vendor. And then the name is going to be the same thing, only with underscore. So Begin Vendor Phone Burner Session is going to be the name of the button. And for display type, I'm going to do List Button. And we want to display checkboxes for multi-record selection. And I'm going to leave this set to display an existing window with sidebar. And for content source, I'm going to choose Visualforce page. And once I do that, I should see my new vendor dialer start page listed there. Now, obviously, you see two options here on my screen because I created a new one for this video. But you're going to select the dialer start page that you just created, and then we're going to go ahead and save. And now that we've created the button, we need to make sure that this button is visible in our layout. So I'm going to click on Search Layouts over on the left-hand side. I'm going to click on this menu right here, and I'm going to Edit. And we're going to add our new button, the button that we just created, to our layout. And then I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to click on List View Button Layout. And just like the other page, I'm going to go ahead and edit here. And I'm going to make sure that that new button is added to this layout as well. Now there's one other thing that we need to do with those Visualforce pages. We need to make sure that the security settings for each of those Visualforce pages we just created is configured so that all of the profiles that need access to them have access to them. So let's go back to our Setup Home, go back to our Visualforce pages. We're going to go back to the section that contains our Visualforce pages, and we're going to go to the security settings, and we're going to make sure to add all of the profiles to the enabled profile section for each of these pages. So we need to do that for both pages, the details and the dialer start, and then make sure you save that. Now in this case, I'm just going to leave it as System Administrator because that's fine for me. Now let's jump back over to Object Manager. We're going to go back to Vendor. We need to make sure that whatever field contains the phone numbers in this custom object is added to the phone burner side so phone burner knows to treat that as a phone number. So I'm going to go to Fields and Relationships. I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick find for phone. In this case, it's called vendor phone, and it has a field name of phone burner underscore phone underscore C. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go over to phone burner. I'm going to click on my initials in the upper right-hand corner to go to the settings menu, and I'm going to go to integrations. On integrations, I'm going to go to the details for the Salesforce integration. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here. And you're going to see where it says new field mapping. I'm going to paste that custom field API name in there. Choose whatever label I want to use and save. Once I save that, now PhoneBurner will know that that is a field that needs to be treated as a phone number when launching a dial session. So now let's jump back over to Salesforce. And we're going to go to the actual vendor's object where we see the actual records. We're going to refresh this page if you haven't already. We're going to load a view. In this case, I'm just going to use my all vendors view. And now I should see my begin vendor phone burner session button. So let's go ahead and select some records and launch a dial session. Those records are now queued up and ready to go. I'm going to click start my dial session. Sign into my PhoneBurner account. And now let's start dialing. And what you'll notice when you're dialing, let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger, is we're actually going to be looking at the vendor details, not a contact detail or a lead detail, but the actual vendor details. Only information specific to that vendor will be visible. But from here, we can disposition like we would any other call. When we disposition it, those updates will go back to Salesforce. If they answer live, we talk to them live like we would anything else, disposition it, that goes back. If we click on Create Note, we can add a note here. I can also create a follow-up task. And save it. These updates will save back to Salesforce directly. I can also make changes to this record right here live in the session. Now let's click on Edit in Salesforce. And we'll see the vendor country field is updated in Salesforce. If I go to Related, I'll see my note. If I go to Upcoming and Overdue Tasks, you'll see that follow-up task that I just created is there. And then the last thing I want to show you here is I'm going to go ahead and disposition this one as Set Appointment. Let's pause our session, move that off the screen, and let's refresh this. And we should see that activity for setting the appointment has logged back to Salesforce. And that's it. That's how easy it is for you to configure PhoneBurner dialing from a custom object on a managed package when you want to dial the specific records that are part of that managed package. Thank you for taking a moment to watch this video. I hope this helps you and your team get more done in less time using the power of PhoneBurner. Thanks again, and happy dialing.